more than 40 years, Williamson Medical Center has been the primary healthcare provider in Williamson County. The life of our community reveals Williamson Medical Center's involvement in the lives of the people it serves and in the community it calls home. Today's program takes a behind-the-scenes look at Williamson Medical Center's emergency medical services. Emergency medical services exist to provide emergency care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In Williamson County, there is a team of 66 professionals who have dedicated their lives to providing world-class emergency medical care for the life of our community.
And about 9th feature to our ambulance service, and it's our bike medic team. Our bike team came to being based on our experience with the Franklin Main Street Festival, the 10K cancer run that we do. And when you have 50 to 100,000 people packed into our Main Street Franklin area, it's difficult to provide emergency medical care. So some very bright employees said, hey, we really need to look at getting a bike team formed. And over time, we eventually formed the team through the generosity of the hospital volunteers who really got us going. They purchased the bicycles. And the team initially formed with 12 members, and we actively participate in every community function in this county. We go to Fairview at Bowie Park. We go to Brentwood for Pearfest. We ride the walking trails in Brentwood. We'll be at Thompson Station for their festival, 4th of July celebration here in Franklin. So we are exposed to roughly 600,000 people that may need emergency medical care.
We're more accessible to the public. We're a quicker means of getting to patients who are in crowded areas or maybe off-road, some area that's not accessible for an ambulance. Sometimes over a 2-day event, they tell us that there's better than 100,000 people there. Ambulances, even though we may have one right at the edge of the event, is going to take 6 or 7 minutes to work its way through the crowd and the traffic to reach a patient. We're usually there within no more than 1.5 minutes, even if we're at the farthest point from where the patient is at the event. We try to work every run or walk we can do. There are several of those throughout the year. We found that's probably the place that we're most effective and it's most beneficial for us to be there. We also do some long-distance cycling rides. We worked the Jack and Back ride this year for the Multiple Sclerosis Society. We've ridden just about everything you can think of where there might be a crowd or it might be hard to get a vehicle through. When you're doing the cancer runs and things of that nature, we also wind up in situations where, because of the runners themselves, it's hard to get ambulances through. They're going for time and they don't want to step off the road. We're a hazard to them in an ambulance if we try to catch them. So bicycle works real well there. Plus we can talk to the people if they look like they're not doing real well. We may be able to check up on them and say, you know, are you feeling dizzy? You think you're all right? And if they're not, they'll usually let you know that.
The bikes allow us to respond advanced life support paramedics to individuals who may become ill at these festivals. So we have ALS service right away, and then the team coordinates how we need to get the transport ambulance in to continue providing that advanced life support care to the ER.
The bicycles we ride they start out their life as just a regular mountain bike, and then we do things to them to modify them that make them more they're better for street use than a regular mountain bike. We don't use knobby tires. That cuts our rolling resistance and makes the bike handle better in the corners. We tend to try to use a stronger wheel than you'd see on a standard bicycle. We go 36 spokes instead of the standard 28 or 32, and 14 gauge, which is the largest spoke we can get. Those things make the wheel less likely to collapse, and that's because of the extra weight we're carrying. We have just reworked our bags so that the basic life support bag now weighs about 13 pounds, and the ALS bag, or advanced life support bag, which contains things that we would use to treat cardiac patients primarily, that weighs about 23 pounds for that setup. Most bike teams are averaging about 35 pounds of weight, so we've cut that considerably. Somehow, Gwen Pullen, the director of volunteer services at the hospital, found out what we were trying to do. They had money, and this was probably the first project they had outside of the hospital. They decided that they wanted to fund what it took to get the program started, and they bought the first 2 bikes, 2 GTs. They're police bikes based on the GT Avalanche. We made a few changes to those and put those bikes on the road, and right off the bat, the idea caught on with the rest of us. They've continued to fund things. They bought us an automatic external defibrillator. They bought us a trailer. They're always looking for ways to help out. We're real high profile, and we're out talking to the kids, and we're on the street all the time, but none of this would ever have happened if it hadn't been for them.
Our bike team has total support from the hospital and the county commission, and from the public. Everybody is so happy that we're there providing that care, and it allows us to really talk to the citizens in a way that we're not able to do during an emergency scene, because typically you don't have any experience with a paramedic until you actually dial 911. And the bike medics allow us to get out and deliver our message to the county and to the citizens, and really educate them about what we're about. What is a paramedic? We're not ambulance drivers. We are highly trained professionals, and the bike medics really allows us an avenue to do that.
The response from the community has been very good. The comments that we get once they figure out we're not police officers, that was one of our biggest stumbling blocks in the beginning. They're real glad we're there, especially events where they have kids with them. We get a lot of questions about bicycles, but a lot of that comes from adults too. The kids are just fascinated with the whole idea of it. The adults have a lot of questions, but kids are more interested in the bike most of the time than they are in us, because every kid has a bicycle, and in some way they can connect with you just because you're on a bike, and there's just something neat to them about a public safety person being on a bicycle. They like to talk. We just barely broke the ice last year on a helmet safety program that we intend to get into at a lot bigger effort will be put into that this year. Right now we're just in an education phase. We hope to go a little further with it within the next couple of years, but there's some details that have to be worked out before that can start.
Bike medic teams are now becoming a necessity. You see them with police departments and also ambulance services for the very reason that we have our team. Our team is unique in that all of our bike medics are soon to become certified.
Our certification comes from the International Police Mountain Bike Association. About 3 years ago, they started a program. They had been training police officers for years for bicycle duty. They came up with the idea, because the demand was there, about 3 years ago, to put an EMS program in place. So they did a little tweaking on the police program to include some emergency medical services stuff and things that are exclusive to us because of the weight and that sort of thing. We require that people come to meetings once a month, and if the weather is good, we'll do some sort of outside practice ride after meetings. If the weather's not good, we'll talk about some maintenance topic or rules of the road or something like that. In addition to attending the meetings and doing the rides then, we request that everybody spend at least 4 hours a month on practice rides. Just put your uniform on, get with 2 or 3 other riders and ride Main Street, or go on a longer ride. We try to concentrate more on slow speed skills when we do those practice rides, but sometimes we'll throw in one where we'll ride 20 or 30 miles for the day. We only ride the work bikes when we're on duty, but to stay proficient at what we do, you have to spend a lot of time on a bicycle. So the only way to do that is to have your own bike, and a lot of us ride our own bikes on events in addition to the ones that the ambulance service owns. This is only our second year to be out in the public, and they're beginning to get accustomed to us being out there and understand who we are and what we're doing, but we're still in our infancy, so to speak. I suspect after this year, we'll probably increase the number of things we do this year, and the public's going to see more of us. I think they're beginning to become accustomed to us being out.
The future for the Bike Medic program is very bright. We plan on adding more bikes. We plan on adding more ALS equipment, really to provide the service that the community wants us to. Now that they know about us, everybody wants us, and we need to expand our staff. So we're very excited. It's a fantastic addition to our service. Williamson Medical Center, through the support of the Williamson County government, is committed to providing, I dare say, world-class emergency medical service care to the citizens of Williamson County, and that's something they can be very proud of, that we will continue to research for the best equipment, best products, and the best employees possible to provide that service.